Hello, I'm Atu Jamir and you're watching Hornbill TV's Prime at 9. Now, headlines. NSCN reformation declared a split and elected former Vice President of the faction, Akato Chopi, as its president. Group government culture to remain the same and unilateral ceasefire stance with the government of India. Talks between the Manipur government and tribal students' bodies have failed to bring any settlement on the demand to table Hill Area Committee Bill. Students' bodies to go ahead with 24 hours shutdown economic blockage along National Highway. US President Joe Biden has said that his administration is considering a diplomatic boycott of the 2022 Winter Olympics in Beijing, China. Chinese government officials have warned of a robust Chinese response to any potential boycotts. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar said that India and China are going through a particularly bad patch in their ties. He said Beijing has taken a set of actions in violation of agreements for which it still does not have a credible explanation. In a major development, NSCN reformation has declared a split and elected former Vice President of the faction, Akato Chopi, as its president. It was informed that the nomenclature will remain the same and unilateral ceasefire stance with the government of India. Speaking at a press conference at the residence of Akato Chopi at Hoito village on Friday, newly elected Home Kilonser Nokrang Lano Iyer said that the main reason for the split was to uplift the cause of the Nagas and not impeaching the rest of the NSCN.
We have just declared the split. And then it is not about power or any cause, but we are sticking to the NPG cause and for Naga people. And apart from any comments from other area, it is not a proper time to split also in a way. It is very disappointing one way. But whereas for the good cause for our Naga people, that we are very affirmed as we gather today, and all the tribes of Naga as we uphold our Naga political rights. We have elected Akato Chopi as the president of NSCN. And then as we gather here today, all the Naga tribes are representing. And it is our humble prayer that you'll uplift the cause, and it's our motto and our aim and objective towards that cause. That is how I open the discussion.
We declared the split and also announces unilateral ceasefire with the government of India. And then what we want to say is, what we want others to know is that we are not following any personal leader like Akato Chopi or Wang Ting or Tika. We are following the constitution. That is why I just brought the constitution also. This constitution was drafted in the 80s, and then the NSCN constitution is here. This is the Yazabo, this is the party discipline. So we are not following Akato or we are not following Tika or whomsoever. We are just following whomsoever the leader who adheres to this constitution. So what we would like to say to people is like, we are not asking people to support us also, but support who is right. That is the only thing we want to say to people, that we are not asking that support us, support him or whatever, but we will be very glad that if people they can support, people know who is right and who is wrong. So like our only request is that we can support whoever is right. If we are wrong, that is up to the individual preference. So like that is the thing. And then in the meeting, we found that the present vice president, he was the only person who could adhere, who had the potential to adhere to the constitution. So in the meeting, our Home Kilon sir proposed the name of our vice president to be unanimously elected to the post of president, and then it was seconded by our collective leader, Sir Vino. Last time he was here, but today, like because of some minor health problem, he has left. So he seconded, and then the House unanimously seconded, and then it was declared by our pro tem speaker, our SGO.
It is just a split. We are not impeaching the remaining members of NSCN. And apart from that, it's not a blind game. It is not about leadership and power. That's all.
How will you call your organization name now? You were NSCN-R earlier. Now after the split, what will be the name?
NSCN only.
Same.
Yeah. We want to be a part of NNPG, but like I said, it is not our goal. And then it's not just because our Sir Kitovi is the convener, it's also not only his goal. Since there are 7 NNPG, 7 government forming one NNPG, they must sit together, and then different people may have different opinion also, that we cannot say.
The NNPG as a whole had signed the NPA in an agreed position, as an agreed position. So now, won't that all go in vain and give another group the upper hand? And we all know which group we're talking about, since it looks like it's getting weak.
Well, actually, it is not weakening, it's a strengthening. As you say, it's a strengthening.
Yes.
When we can express, we can participate. So that
It may be recalled that on October 19, the group speaking to media persons had hinted of a split due to internal problems going on since 2020, but on request of convener of the NNPG and Kitovi Jimomi, it was put on hold due to the critical juncture of the Naga peace accord coming to an end. Dismissing the news of a split, a press release from the Working Committee of the Naga National Political Groups and NPGs in a statement issued on October 22nd said the news report carried in various mass media indicating tendency of split within NSCN-R remains nullified and bears no credibility. However, the organization admitted that there was a minor internal issue within the party. The statement signed by Wang Ting Naga, President NSCN-R, Akatu Chopi, Vice President NSCN-R, and P. Tikak Kilonser, NSCN-R, said, "It is also regretted that a minor internal issue within the party has been blown out of proportion and also exposed in the public domain. Henceforth, the 3 top leaders of the NSCN-R shall once again work together cohesively with due consultation with each other and shall continue to strengthen the NNPGs till the achievement of our final goal," the statement issued by the media cell of the Working Committee of NNPGs said.
A meeting, and then they even declared in the paper, we all know that it has been amicably solved. But there was a certain, it must be with our boss, so that there was some written agreement also, but somehow it could not work out. Rather, there were found to be some even horse trading among faction within faction, like luring something. We're all faction now. So even like whether is with me or with him, it's all the same. But the horse trading, it began to happen. Instead of adhering and sticking to that agreement, it was completely contrast to the agreement. So we were left with no option. And then we also, like, frankly speaking, we did not want to come to this split and all, no, but we had no choice.
Talks between the Manipur government and representatives of tribal students' bodies have failed to bring any settlement on the demand to convene special assembly session to table Hill Area Committee Bill. Therefore, the tribal students' bodies have informed that it will go ahead with 24 hours total shutdown in Hill districts of Manipur as planned earlier. ATSUM Information Secretary Kaimeliang Tongul informed HornbillTV that on receipt of meeting invitation from the state government on official discussion between state government and ATSUM, ANSAM, KSOGHQ and ATSUM Federation units was held today, Chief Minister's office. The positions of both the parties were stated in the meeting but could not find any agreeable solution. Therefore, the announced agitations will go ahead as scheduled 24 hours total shutdown on November 20 in hill districts and indefinite economic blockage along the national highways from November 22nd.
So today we have decided that the government should convene a special assembly within 7 days of time. If it does not convene a special assembly to tackle the SSC recommended ADC bill, then we are going to impose total shutdown.
US President Joe Biden has said that his administration is considering a diplomatic boycott on the 2022 Winter Olympics in Beijing, China. Asked about its possibility of the boycott during an Oval Office meeting with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau of Canada, Biden responded that it is something we are considering. Under a diplomatic boycott, the US will not send an official government delegation to the Games but will still allow US athletes to compete. Human rights advocates have been urging countries to hold China accountable for its record on human rights by skipping the Games, calling the Beijing Olympics the genocide Games. Chinese government officials have warned of robust Chinese responses to any potential boycotts. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar said on Friday that India and China are going through a particularly bad patch in their ties because Beijing has taken a set of actions in violation of agreements for which it still does not have a credible explanation, and it is for Chinese leadership to answer where they want to take the bilateral relationship. I don't think the Chinese have any doubt on where we stand on our relationship and what's not gone right with it. I've been meeting my counterpart Wang Yi a number of times. As you would have experienced, I speak fairly clear, responsibly, understandably, and there is no lack of clarity, so if they want to hear it, I am sure they would have heard it, Jaishankar said in a response to a question at a panel, Greater Power Competition, the Emerging World Order, at the Bloomberg New Economic Forum in Singapore. We are going through a particularly bad patch in our relationship because they have taken a set of actions in violation of agreements for which they still don't have a credible explanation, and that indicates some rethink about where they want to take our relationship. But that's for them to answer, he further said, in an apparent reference to the eastern Ladakh border clash with China. Mokokchung Chamber of Commerce and Industry MCCI has demanded the contractors to complete a repairing of road along the stretch of NH02 passing through the commercial nerve center of Mokokchung town within the month of November 2021. In a memorandum letter to the Deputy Commissioner of Mokokchung on November 17, the MCCI complained that the repairing of the road, which has been left half done by those who were task for the job, is causing much inconvenience and harm to the public in general and the business owners in particular. MCCI stated that the peril of health hazards posed by the dust pollution emitted by the abandoned road construction works is coupled with the danger of pedestrians and vehicular accidents. Moreover, they stated that traders and members of the business community who work along the stretch of the route spend more than 10 arduous hours a day precariously exposed to the suffocating dust pollution. The authorities are expected to look into the matter as the health, well-being, rights and lives of innocent citizens are at stake here, the MCCI asserted. However, lamented that it is very unfortunate that the authorities need to be reminded to do what is to be rightfully done. They claim that the said repairing works have been left abandoned for almost a year now, forcing the traders and the public in general to be exposed to hazardous particulate matter over an extended period of time on a daily basis for almost a year. Besides causing economic losses and general inconvenience, a blatant violation of the constitutional right to life and personal liberty of citizens. They further claim that MCCI have learned through the media that the contractors have assured all ward in Mokokchung town on November 7, 2021 that the construction works would be completed before Christmas. However, the MCCI dismay the construction work stopped the day after, and there has not been any construction activity on the highway since then. We expect Your Honour to kindly intervene in the larger interests of the people and ensure that the contractors uphold their assurance to the empty and resume the construction works immediately. MCCI demanded. MCCI further warned that if the construction works are not to be done and completed within the month of November 2021, MCCI will be left with no option but to seek legal recourse for commensurate compensation or to resort to our own course of action as deemed fit. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Friday announced the repeal of the 3 contentious farm laws. Farmers mostly from Punjab and Haryana have been protesting against these laws at the borders of Delhi since November 26 last year. While no official reason has been cited, the decision comes just ahead of the winter session of Parliament that is scheduled to commence on November 29. In the last session of Parliament, the opposition attacked the government strongly over the laws, and it led to acrimony and impacted the functioning of the houses. Also, the Prime Minister has made this announcement before the crucial assembly elections in the 5 states: Uttar Pradesh, Punjab, Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh and Goa. The BJP's performance in the civic polls in Punjab earlier this year and in assembly by-elections in Haryana were dismal.
साथियों, मैं आज देशवासियों से क्षमा मांगते हुए सच्चे मन से और पवित्र हृदय से कहना चाहता हूं कि शायद हमारी तपस्या में ही कोई कमी रही होगी, जिसके कारण दिए के प्रकाश जैसा सत्य कुछ किसान भाइयों को हम समझा नहीं पाए। आज गुरु नानक देव जी का पवित्र प्रकाश पर्व है। ये समय किसी को भी दोष देने का नहीं है। आज मैं आपको, पूरे देश को ये बताने आया हूं कि हमने 3 कृषि कानूनों को वापस लेने का, रिपील करने का निर्णय लिया है। इस महीने के अंत में शुरू होने जा रहे संसद सत्र में, इसी महीने में, हम 3 कृषि कानूनों को रिपील करने की संवैधानिक प्रक्रिया को पूरा कर देंगे।
प्रधानमंत्री जी चाहते थे कि किसानों के जीवन में जो बंदिशें हैं उनको खोला जाए। इस दिशा में अनेक कृषि अर्थशास्त्रियों ने, वैज्ञानिकों ने लंबे समय तक अध्ययन किया और इसके परिणाम स्वरूप प्रधानमंत्री जी कृषि सुधार की दृष्टि से 3 कानून लेकर आए, जिनको लोकसभा और राज्यसभा ने पारित किया। उन कानूनों का लाभ निश्चित रूप से किसानों को मिलने वाला था और उन कानूनों के पीछे प्रधानमंत्री जी की साफ नियत थी कि किसानों के जीवन में क्रांतिकारी बदलाव आए। लेकिन मुझे दुख है कि इन कानूनों का लाभ हम देश के कुछ किसानों को समझाने में सफल नहीं हो पाए।
बिल्कुल कंटिन्यू रहेगा। कैसे चला जाएगा किसान बगैर बात के? आपने घोषणा कर दी, किसान चला गया, ऐसे कैसे चला जाएगा? उसका बातचीत होगी। अगर सरकारों को ये है कि मामला निपटाना, तो बात तो करोगे ना। ऐसे कैसे चले जाएगा किसान? कि उन्होंने कह दिया हम अपना चले गए। ये किसान जब तक समाधान इनका नहीं होगा, ये लीगल गारंटी कानून नहीं मिलेगा हमको, कागज नहीं इसके मिलेंगे। ये पार्लियामेंट में जाएगा, आप रखो पार्लियामेंट, इसको खत्म करवाओ 2 दिन में।
प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने जो कृषि बिल वापस लिया, वो किसानों के लिए बहुत ही सराहनीय है और जो किसान आंदोलन चल रहा है, वो किसानों को वापस ले लेना चाहिए। और इससे प्रधानमंत्री जी नरेंद्र मोदी जी की बहुत ही बधाई का काम है।
कानून वापस ले रहे हैं, देर से आए दुरुस्त आए, किसानों के ताई तो की बहुत बड़ी खुशी है। आज प्रकाशोत्सव का दिन है, इस पर उन्होंने घोषणा करी है तो कोई सोच समझ के ही करी होगी। प्रधानमंत्री हमारे यहाँ के जना कहाँ विदेशों में भी नाम ऊंचा कर रहे हैं और कृषि कानून 1 साल 26 नवंबर को शायद 1 साल पूरा हो रहा है और उससे पहले ही उन्होंने ये घोषणा कर, देर आए दुरुस्त आए, बहुत बढ़िया काम करा किसान।
On June 5, 2020, the Indian government promulgated the 3 farm bills. These 3 bills pushed the agricultural sector in India from a government-run to a private-run sector. On September 14, 2020, ordinance was brought to Parliament, and on SPET, 17 ordinance was passed in Lok Sabha. 3 days later, ordinance was passed in the Rajya Sabha by voice vote. On September 24, 2020, farmers in Punjab announced a 3-day rail roko. However, on September 27, the bills were given presidential assent. A biography on late Nokpang Konyak, entitled The Biography of Nokpang Konyak, the Konyak Naga football legend, was released today by the president of Mon District Football Association, Manjung, who is also joint secretary of the Nagaland Football Association. The book was dedicated by Liang Ha Baptist Church pastor. The booklet was named after the great footballer Nokpang, a remarkable and a legendary footballer who imprinted illustrations football records to his name. Nokpang had won a medal in Subroto Mukherjee, one of the prestigious football tournaments, and also represented the team India and played the 3rd Lion City Cup tournament held in Singapore, where he was adjudged as a leading scorer of India. He is also the first ever Konyak to have played the international tournament and was also one among the Naga footballers to have represented India in international tournaments next to Dr. Talimaran Au. The Long United Club had initiated to bring back his lost glory and revive back and acknowledge him for all laurels he brought to the Konyak, the Nagas and the whole team India as a whole. That's all we have for now. Keep watching Hornbill TV.